You have no idea.
I mean, I'd only be
contract.
glad if I liked watching him get shelled because it is a launching
You
pad.
bite your tongue.
An absolute launching pad. And I don't want to watch Holland get absolutely
The
rocked.
cornerstone of the law firm is not going to get lit up, okay? So this is JNC Baseball Podcast. My name's Chris, or everybody calls me Fieldsy. We also have Big Dog Jack, and we also have Tommy coming from the left.
It is the, there is nothing about me that even remotely leans left.
I know, that's
But,
all. We got the lefty over here.
Oh, yes.
So, but
We
yeah,
have the lefty.
Really?
Over here. Lefty. The big
Ridiculous.
banks.
Yeah, so it's JNC Baseball Show, and we do this every single week. And we're looking forward to this, Ben. And we're going to go ahead and kick this off. The thing that pisses me off the most is, during the winter meetings, Ned Yosts comes out and starts talking about something he said to the Boston Red Sox. And I know what he was doing, okay? And we talked about this. He was trying to devalue Holland. And I don't know if I'm the only person that thought this, but if I'm thinking it, there's got to be some other people that are thinking it. But when you come out and say that, quote, unquote, if you want to call me on this, he will never be as dominant as he was stuff-wise.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of comment right there pisses me off. It shows how much Ned Yost doesn't really trust his players. Not really. I mean, he's a good leader in the clubhouse. Yeah. He's loyal to a fault, whatever you want to say. But you don't do that to somebody. You're talking about a guy's career. Coming off an injury like that, I don't care. You don't say that you don't think he's ever going to be that. That you're just basically giving. You're not a doctor. Okay, you don't know. There's been tons of people that come off Tommy John and come back better. I mean, they may not be 30, 32 years old, but it happens all the time. But for you to come out and say he'll never be as dominant as he was, you just cost that guy millions of dollars.
Well,
and the fact that the Rockies signed him for what they did, I hope Greg Holland comes to Kansas City in August and shoves it straight up Kansas City and just gives the DX sign as he's walking back to the dugout. Just bam, bam, screw you for doing that. Because Ned Yost is a terrible manager, and it's probably all the way up to the front office. They were trying to devalue him so that they could re-sign him. Because 2 days after he made those comments, they were talks with Greg Holland, probably because nobody else wanted to talk to him.
Well, they were
he's
currently in
never gonna
talks
be
with
as
Greg
dominant.
Holland because he's Greg Holland. Kansas City loves the man, and they would have done anything to keep fan favorites in the
Obviously
in royal
not,
blue.
because they didn't want to pay him.
So he was so offended by Ned Yost's comments that he negotiated with the Royals after he made those comments.
He's a baseball player. He's going to try to get a contract. Okay, he's a professional. Okay, he's got to get a contract. He's got a family.
He got
to
a
feed.
contract.
He got a contract.
He
And
got
I'm
a
glad
big
it's not with
contract.
Kansas City.
$6 million in salary
Yeah.
with a $1 million buyout, $15 million player option for next year. I mean, it didn't seem to. And this is a guy coming off Tommy John.
Now here's the question:
And
what
he'd
do the
only
Royals
had-
offer him?
I have no idea.
Half
Probably.
and no player.
The Royals have very little payroll space in 2017.
Really?
That's why
Really?
Brandon Moss is only making $3.5 million, I think it is, and then $7.5. They're backloading every contract.
I get that because they're signing a huge TV deal in 2018.
Yeah.
But still, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
They have the money. I mean, they have money.
They've
The Glass
absolutely
family
got
has the
money.
money. Okay, they just came off
Yeah.
of 2 World Series
That's a
runs.
different
They
subject.
have the money. They just don't want to spend it. And
I-
that's a completely different
Right.
conversation. We're not going
Right.
to get into the front office of the Royals and how much they love to just hold on to that pocketbook and squeeze out pennies.
Right.
We're not going to talk about that. But it's ridiculous that they would do that. The fact that Ned Yost would even come close to saying something like that just shows to me I just don't like him. He's not a good manager.
Well, if you look at the context of what he said, I'm actually reading what he said right now. I don't know if he will ever be what he was, and I mean stuff-wise, 97 to 98 miles per hour.
But that's his whole thing. He's a stuff pitcher. Those 98 with a killer splitter.
Well, that you could say the same thing about Mariano Rivera early in his career. You could say the same thing about Roy Halladay
Early in
his
his
career.
career.
But
Roger
nobody
Clemens.
ever came out and said, you know what? He's getting older. I don't think Mariano Rivera's got it anymore.
and that's another thing, too.
He reinvented himself,
But
just
that's
like other
but
great
that's
pitchers have done.
different, Okay, because those guys are natural decline. There's no arm issue. There's no Tommy John. They're just declining naturally with age. This guy's coming off of a injury that could end most people's careers.
Okay.
All right?
and has ended many
Has
careers.
ended many careers, and it's also helped other people. But you can't come out and say, because you're not a doctor, you have no idea what he did.
But you're
There
arguing
are 2 people
that he
sitting at
cost
this table
him.
that have trashed elbows.
Yeah.
That's
We were talking earlier. You're arguing that he cost him millions of dollars. Then he went on after that. He went on to praise Greg Holland. The thing about Greg Holland is I've never met anybody that was more of a fierce, fearless competitor than
They're
he
all
was.
fierce, fearless competitors. They play in the Major League Baseball.
It's called backtracking because he realized
called
what he
being an
said
athlete.
was asinine.
Well, he
ridiculous.
said this continuously. I mean, this was a continuous.
Yeah, he made a
Statement.
shit sandwich, and then he tried to eat it.
And he's and the thing is, you feel like he owes Greg Holland something because he's one of his players. No, I mean Greg Holland is a free agent. He doesn't owe him anything.
He needs to owe him something.
And you know what? Even
how can I trust him as a player?
And they were still trying to sign him. What does Greg Holland do when he knows full well he can't trust a manager at that point? Should they sign? It was a foregone conclusion that he wasn't going to sign. Doesn't
matter what. Doesn't matter what he offers him. If the guy's talking outside to the public about you, why would you ever sign with that company or that team?
I don't know. You'll have to ask Greg Holland because he apparently
signed with the Rockies.
Well, he signed with the Rockies, but he was still negotiating with the Royals.
He would rather get absolutely rocked every time he touches the mound than play for the Royals.
Ned Yost.
I don't think it matters if Ned Yost had never said anything about Greg Holland. I still don't think the Royals would have re-signed Greg Holland.
I think
and I don't think
he would have signed somewhere else for him more than he signed for the Rockies.
If Ned Yost didn't say anything about Greg Holland, he'd be playing for the Boston Red Sox.
Okay,
because obviously that GM wanted to know about Greg Holland, and they were interested in him, and he said what he said. And then they didn't sign him.
And another point is, if other front offices are really looking at what a manager says about a player as like their only,
So are you going to trust somebody that's been around this person every day for a full season?
Yeah, I hold some value in that. But I mean, this guy, by the way, he hasn't been with the player. He hasn't been the player's manager for a year.
It's just like reputation, though. It takes forever to build it up, and one comment to tear it down. And he did it.
These front offices, these are multi-hundred million dollar industries.
That's the point.
Each individual organization.
You're trying to save as much money as possible.
So they're not. Their departments, clearly their scouting departments and sabermetrics and all that stuff. Clearly, they're much more sophisticated than. Well, let's just read something about what his manager 1 year ago. One little quotation from the Kansas City Star.
If they're on the fence and they're like, okay, we really like him, we really like this guy. Let's see what his old manager. Let's see what he has to say, and he comes out and says that. There's no fence anymore. You tore that fence down, and we put out a parking lot.
His old manager hadn't seen him in a year, and B, he was throwing 90-91 in the showcase over the spring. I would not have re-signed Greg Holland if he were throwing. Now, if he were throwing 94, 95, sure, absolutely.
I hope he comes back to Kansas City in mid-August and shoves it.
Okay,
up the Kansas City,
and that's fine. And I think it's a good deal for the Rockies too. By the way,
I hope he comes. $15 million is a lot.
$15 million is a lot of money.
That's in 1 year. He may not get that.
I do think
he may not take that player option.
Yeah, he may not do that. Yeah.
But they can buy him out for $1 million.
Right.
So he's not getting that money.
Yeah.
Even if he does,
it's a player option, by the way.
Doesn't matter. They can still buy him out for $1 million.
Well, if it's a player option, they have to pay him if he chooses to stay with the Rockets. If he doesn't have a good year next year, he's clearly going to stay for $15 million.
Obviously.
Yeah. But if he does perform well, then
you know what I hope? I hope he goes to the Detroit Tigers so he gets to play the Royals all the time.
I mean, he's 31, 32.
Play for winners.
I mean,
I'm sorry,
30.
did you just call the Detroit Tigers winners?
They will be this year. We'll get into that later.
We'll
get into that later.
I beg to differ.
Okay, I beg to differ too.
Okay, so we're going to stop talking about Greg Holland and Ned Yost because I'm getting a little tired of talking about Ned Yost. So we're going to go into the division. Okay, we're talking about the NL West today. We want to know. We're just going to go over the division as a whole to start off with because we got a lot of teams and players and stuff like that to talk about. First things first, how competitive really is this division?
I would argue I would think it's the second most competitive division in the National League.
Third
or fourth, yes. I would still put the NL Central above. I still believe the Pirates are going to rebound.
I'm not talking top end. I'm talking about overall competitiveness.
Overall competitiveness.
All five teams.
All 5 teams.
If you're looking at all 5 teams, there's no way. There's no way the National League Central has 5 teams that are competitive.
No. But
4 of the 5 in the NL West are fine.
It is very top heavy in the NL Central, but in the NL West, I think there's 4 teams there could pick off some wins from people.
There are 4 teams, yeah, but I don't look at any of those teams. I don't think they're as dominant. I think the Cardinals and the Cubs are better than every team in the National League West right now.
I'll give you that.
Yeah,
even though as much as I hate the Cardinals and much they shouldn't be playing this year, but it's okay.
Right. I still think they're better, and the Cardinals, of course.
But I mean, when you look at it, there's a potential to have 5 or 4. No way they're having 5 in the Padres. The Padres might as well just move to Japan and become Tokyo Giants. Right. Seriously, they have 4 teams that have the possibility to win 85 games or more.
Mm-hmm.
It just if you look at paper,
and they could. I mean, you got to realize that at least one of those remaining 4 teams are incredibly hot and cold. The Diamondbacks are.
The Diamondbacks are perennial great paper and light it on fire as soon as the season starts.
Yeah.
I could see the Diamondbacks being really, really good in 2018.
They could be really, really good in 2017 or really, really bad.
They could. You're right.
They keep getting stricken by injuries, and it's really pissing me off because I really like going with the Diamondbacks, and they always burn me. It's like playing the yo. You just can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it.
Can't do it.
It's one of those things. You just can't. Like, you cannot bet on the Diamondbacks or the Rockies because it's just too volatile.
No.
I mean, it's like betting on the Royals in 2015. They were getting projected to win what? no games.
Right.
You know.
Right.
But
They were
here's the thing.
projected to win.
The thing that pisses me off the most is everybody says the NL Central's top heavy. Everybody says the NL West is really top heavy. Are really the Giants and Dodgers that good compared to everybody else in that division?
I think they're very good teams. I don't think they're excellent teams. I don't think they're great teams. I think they're probably, if you look throughout baseball, I think there are 3 or 4 truly great teams on paper.
On paper, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're talking about paper.
Yeah.
That's all we can talk about right now.
But do you think anybody in that division is going to win the National League and even the World Series?
No.
I don't see them winning the division rounds. Mm-hmm. There's two good teams in the National League.
Are we talking about, do I actually think it'll happen, or can I see it happening?
Can
Because
you see
there
it?
are absolutely 2 that I could see happening.
I mean, the Giants.
The Giants and the Dodgers are.
I pick the Giants all the time because the Giants are good. They have a really good rotation.
If Kershaw ever finds a way to show up for the playoffs,
he did last year, but guess what? It didn't matter.
and it didn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter. He ran up against a buzzsaw. You weren't going to stop that train. You weren't going to stop that train.
It was a team of destiny.
You weren't going to stop
it's
that
tough.
train. That train was rolling. You're not going to stop that. I don't care who you are. He had 2 really good starts. One really good start against the Cubs in Game 2. I'm pretty sure it was Game 2, right?
2.
Yeah, Game 2. He did like a 2-hitter or something stupid like that. Threw like 8 innings. It was ridiculous. But he can't do that. I mean, I hope if they play the Cardinals, they're screwed because Clayton Kershaw gets to the 7th inning and gives up 8 runs every time he plays the Cardinals.
That's true. Yeah.
Every time. The last 3 years in the playoffs, he does that every single year. And I have a bet every single year with a Cardinals fan, and I just get burned by Clayton Kershaw. Freaking Todd, dude. It makes me so mad.
Which is tough because he is the second best pitcher in the NL West.
He's an excellent regular season pitcher. I think that he will.
He's the Peyton Manning of the MLB.
Sure.
To Madison
That's a
Bumgarner's
good
Tom Brady.
analogy.
That's not true because
To Madison Bumgarner's Tom Brady.
Peyton Manning has 2 Super Bowl wins.
Right.
Oh, yeah. You're right. He's the Dan Marino.
He is
Dan
the
Marino.
Dan
Yeah.
Marino.
He's the
better.
Dan Marino of the MLB. To the Giants, Madison Bumgarner, who is Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. That's
Because, I mean, he's a good pitcher, and he's great, but he also gets carried by a lot of other people.
He's also an exceptional hitter. He can carry his own team.
He does do that. And that's the point. I mean, that's the reason why I pick the Giants all the time over the Dodgers, and I'm getting really mad about the Dodgers.
2
getting
bombs,
so
4
much hype
RBIs, and only give up 2. You just won that game by yourself.
Yeah, it happened.
You know, I was telling a friend of mine, the Giants are the team who finishes second place. They win the wild card game, and then they go on to win the World Series.
Did that
Whereas
happen-
the Dodgers
that happened
will.
last year?
The Dodgers are
How'd that work out?
no. Well, every other year.
How'd that happen work out last year for them?
about the
but
4
the
years
Dodgers
before
are the
that?
team who wins the division, and then they fall. They immediately lose in the.
Yeah, they win. They win the division because the Giants,
Yeah, they're like
take a runny deuce down their leg.
like the Kansas Jayhawks.
We're talking about baseball here.
I think the Dodgers are a good regular
Says the man
season
that brought up
team
Dan Marino.
because they have so much
Yeah.
depth.
We have to.
I think the Dodgers. The reason I picked the Dodgers is they have so much depth, and that's what gets them
Depth
through the
in
regular
what?
season. They have
Depth in their
in
starting
their pitching
pitching?
and their bullpen. Absolutely.
They have 2 guys in their bullpen that I would trust to take the ball.
They just signed Sergio Romo, who had a pretty good half.
They just signed Sergio Romo. Obviously, the Giants let him go for a reason. They had a terrible bullpen last year, historically bad, and you know it. It was a
The Giants
meltdown.
had a terrible bullpen. Yeah.
Why would you sign Sergio Romo? He was one of the figureheads of that bullpen forever.
Well, last year
Now,
Ned-
if they signed Javier Lopez, that might be different.
Mhm.
I know he's 38 or 37 or however old he is, but he's still a shutdown lefty.
Mhm.
And they need guys that can play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. They don't have any depth. They have Pedro Baez and Kenley Jansen.
I think they have in the rotation. They have a ton of depth. They got
Their rotation.
Alex Wood.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, okay. They have a bunch of untested.
I'm not saying Alex Wood is an ace, but I'm saying that he is a.
He's
I think
a
he could be a
grade
viable
7th
number
starter,
3.
grade 7th starter.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he is. I think he's a viable number 3, number 4
I know.
guy as their number 7 starter. Because he's probably going to start the year in the bullpen.
He has to start the year in the bullpen. I mean, they do have some pretty good starters, but
And they have 2 aces, by the way. I would call Urias an ace. He's 19 years old.
he's 19.
And
He's okay. To bring it back, they have a lot of unproven talent. 1 year does not make you a fucking all-star in this league, and you know that.
at 19 years old, though. The
So?
year that
So
he put
what?
up last year.
So how is he gonna
it
mature? Is he gonna completely fall on his face? Is he
Yeah.
gonna become a head case?
Th-
Is he
there-
any number of things? Is he gonna trash an arm?
There's always a possibility of anything happening, and of course maturity goes a long way. I understand that, but he was highly touted even before he arrived.
So was John Rocker
last year. Urias was one of the top prospects. If not, was he the top pitching prospect in baseball last year?
He
And
wasn't even their top prospect. Period.
Okay, well, the fact checkers, I'm sure there are fact checkers out there.
I'm just saying,
We'll have to
Jose
get
De
on that.
Leon that they traded for Logan Forsythe.
I don't
which
like
was
that.
a
I don't like that
terrible
trade.
trade.
I don't like that
for
trade.
the Dodgers.
Yeah, that
was their number 1 prospect.
I do not like that deal. I would have
Because
just.
Urias
it was great for the Rays.
Because Urias is no longer a prospect. But I'm just saying, like, the league is extremely competitive, okay? Because we haven't even gotten into the Rockies or the Diamondbacks. On paper, those teams are ridiculous. Mm-hmm. I'm not even going to talk about the Padres right now because we're talking about competitiveness, and they just don't cut it.
I think Will Myers, I think they're signing him to a long-term deal. I think that could be
I think it hurts him.
Well, I think that you could argue that, yeah. But I still think they're going to be shopping him at the trade deadline. I think they should shop him at the trade deadline. They need to shop.
Well, who's going to pick it up? Name somebody who will pick up that. I mean, the guy doesn't.
You could find a large market team that I think could pick it up. You know, like the Red Sox. I mean, I'm not going to specifically a team like the Red Sox could pick up that entire salary.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good player. He's a good hitter. He's not going to carry that team. Okay.
So no, it's a 100-loss team.
Yeah, it's a 100-loss team.
Yeah.
So here's the thing that makes me the most mad about the NL West is the media bias for only the Giants and the Dodgers. Because I want to watch some teams. I mean, there's some really good players.
You're right.
There's two arguably top five players in the NL West that aren't even on the Dodgers or the Giants.
Absolutely.
You got Nolan Arenado and Paul Goldschmidt. I mean, those are two unbelievable players that we don't even get to see unless they're playing the Giants or the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the fact that
the games start at 10 o'clock at night Central anyway, so unless you're going to stay up until 2 in the morning, you're not watching the games to begin with.
I mean, that's Central. What about East Coast? Those games are almost like midnight.
Yeah.
You know, and so you wonder why these guys, I mean, they're getting like, oh, Bryce Harper's so much better. You don't know because you never see him. Obviously, all you see is Bryce Harper. He's just thrown in your face. Nolan Arenado has got, 3 or 4 Golden Gloves ever since he came in the league.
Right.
He's Gold Glove every year. And he's one of the top hitters. Yeah, he's got the Colorado air, but he still hits the crap out of the ball, and everybody knows it.
He tears the cover off the ball everywhere he goes. It's not just in Colorado where I could go deep.
Yeah, and Paul Goldschmidt is Paul Goldschmidt. There's no reason. There's a reason why he's number 3 overall fantasy player. I mean, he puts up numbers.
That's why I think the Rockies are the ultimate. They are the team who could win 92 games. They could lose 92 games. They could lose 95 games. You know, they're the one because the offense is such a variable for them. You know, I mean, they are so dominant at home, and yet they're so terrible away. You know. So they're kind of a difficult team to project. Mostly, it's been on the negative side for them. You know.
Yeah, you're being really negative about the Rockies. That's really kind of
that's what I did.
I got the Rockies. I love the Rockies. They're great. Let's just start. with
they're great.
I have them finishing around 500
in the NL West.
Okay, so let's start with the Padres because let's get them knocked out. We need to figure out what's going on.
They'll be knocked out 2 games into the season.
What's going on with this team? I mean, are they? I know they're not a major league team. Period.
They're doing what the Astros did 5 years ago. They're completely ripping it down. They're going for the number 1 draft pick. They're tanking purposely, and a number of other NL teams have done this in recent years too. By the way,
I get that, but I mean, look at the lineup, dude. You got to put something out there. I mean, I understand you got Will Myers and Solarte, but who else you got? I mean, Margot's supposed to be a really good prospect, but he's unproven.
Right,
Janikowski or whatever. I mean, that guy.
Travis isn't bad.
He's a decent center fielder.
He's a decent center fielder, but he doesn't have
power.
He's definitely not going to have the draw to put butts in the seats.
Well, they don't care. I mean, they got Will Myers, but it doesn't matter. Every single team is leaving San Diego anyway.
Right.
Are they going to have a team for very long?
And I wonder how it's going to affect the attendance. You know, maybe this wouldn't be the right year to judge because I mean they're likely going to lose 100 games as we said, but
they've been losing 100 games for the last 5 years, every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's at some point. I mean, they made a couple big splashes a couple years ago. Signed Melvin Gordon, or not Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon. Yeah, the San Diego did sign Melvin Gordon. Just wrong sport.
Right.
Melvin Upton Jr., Matt Kemp. They got rid of Derek Norris. I mean, he was actually pretty good for them at catcher.
I have to admit, I was correct on the analysis of them a couple years ago because I didn't think that they were all that. I didn't think they were going to make
terrible.
the playoffs.
They were just a ragtag team.
Yeah, I didn't predict they were going to be quite as bad as they were, but I said that I said all along there. I mean, they're not a playoff caliber team.
But I mean, a couple years ago, they had a legit rotation.
Yeah,
they had a legit rotation for a while, and now they're gone. It's
with
nothing.
Kennedy Ross and
they got what? Trevor Cahill is their number 3.
Trevor Cahill.
Clayton Richards is their number 2. Are you kidding me?
Basically cast-offs from other teams.
They have cast-offs from other teams.
Just
I mean, get out of here. I mean, these guys are...
Well, it's hard not to have cast-offs from other teams when everything you bring up for your minor league system is absolute junk. You can't build from within if there's nothing to
They didn't have
on.
A minor league system forever. They traded everybody to get all those players.
And
they don't do anything.
They've done a poor job of developing players. I mean, they're arguably one of the worst teams in baseball at developing players over the last 10 to 12 years. So,
yeah, I mean, they're pretty bad.
Yeah.
So they're definitely not Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay Rays spit out starting pitchers like it's their job.
Right.
You know, and they need to do something. They got to do something. It can't be the GM every year.
Right.
Or the coach. something's got to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, when do you see them being anywhere near competitive?
I think it's going to be but I said the same thing about the Houston Astros back in 2011, 2012, and I said it's going to be a long, long time. And here they were in 2015, making the, winning 86 or whatever it was games, making the wild card game and winning and playing the Royals. So
they should have beat the Royals.
But I'm going to say probably 4 years. I think the Padres are probably 4 years.
You think 2020, 2021?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how good Margot and Solarte, because Solarte's good.
Right.
And he was really good last year. Margot apparently is supposed to be better.
He's got a huge upside.
Supposed to be better.
Huge upside.
And if he can turn out to be something, they got something there.
It could help if they get a nice package for Will Myers.
Do they
if
even
can
need
get
to
something
trade
for?
him? I mean, Will Myers is what, 27, 28?
Yeah, I think teams are going to be out there. I think they're going to be, especially American League teams where he can DH. Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of interest in Will Myers. Yeah.
You're going to have to give up the farm to get him. I just don't see it. I don't see the Padres being able to do that. I don't see anybody wanting to take him.
Yeah, well.
But you never know. Everything changes once the games start playing.
All you need is one big injury, and now you need him.
I mean, he's going to get a splinter from that bat without those gloves.
Yeah.
He's over.
Get a splinter from riding pine.
But yeah, I mean, the Padres, seriously, Will Myers can't carry that team. Okay, and I'm done talking about this team. I can't stand them. I really want to talk about the Diamondbacks because you had a really good point, Tommy. They are unbelievable on paper.
They're always unbelievable on paper. You also had a great point in that as soon as the season starts, you might as well light the paper on fire.
Just light it on fire. Because that's all they do. They either light it on fire or wrap it in tape because they're either hurt or they just crap down their leg.
The Diamondbacks, yeah, they are a team that seems to wildly underperform or overperform the expectations every year. I remember back in 2011, I think it was, under Kirk Gibson. I don't remember what year it was, but they won 94 games. And then the year after that, they lost 97 games. And then they come back.
It's crazy, man. Yeah. I mean, Paul Goldschmidt's great, but how good is he really? If they can't win a lot of games with him on the team, I mean,
he's not the only one on that team. It's not a bad line. I mean, Yasmani Tomas, great
upside. He's got
huge
potential.
Upside. It's like potential.
What's his name? Puig. They got the same upside, but they just don't do anything.
Right. Well, and they have a couple of stud prospects from a couple years ago. They got Taijuan Walker and, of course, Archie Bradley.
They got that from this year. So they got a nice trade with the Seattle Mariners this year. They got Ketel Marte.
Ketel Marte is another one. Jake Lamb was well regarded.
Jake Lamb is good. I like Jake Lamb too, but he's not going to play this year.
And Chris Iannetta behind the dish is going to be great.
It's a good veteran presence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good veteran presence.
Huge veteran presence.
I think a lot's going to have to go right for them to be good this year, but I do have them winning the division in 2018, and that's assuming that they don't, make stupid trades.
You're assuming that A.J. Pollock doesn't dislocate and break his entire elbow again for the third time. I mean, it's ridiculous, but I will say they have a lot of pop in the lineup, and they play in a huge park that lets the ball fly. David Peralta had a good year last year. Jake Lamb can hit. We'll see how Marte does leading off, because can he take the place of Jean Segura? I don't think he can. You can't take the NL batting title winner out of your lineup and expect to be the same team.
Not expect it, but that doesn't mean that it won't happen.
Unless he meets his potential that he's supposed to meet, because he's really good.
In which case, they're going to be tough to beat anyway. And Zach Greinke, the third best pitcher in that league.
He has the potential to win any game at any time.
Yeah, and he does.
He's
there mentally.
Let's talk about their rotation, because they have a really good rotation, kind of. I mean, they have a lot of players that, if they put it together, it's going to be a scary rotation. Okay, Robbie Ray is basically Danny Duffy a couple years ago. He's a lefty, throws hard. He just needs to develop his changeup a little bit more. He's got a good hook, but he's got to start throwing strikes. If I was him, I would reach out to Danny Duffy and ask him who he worked with, because he needs to figure that out, because he's a good player. He's got a lot of potential. Archie Bradley, just as good too. He had a really good year last year, actually, especially the second half. I'm pretty sure if you want to fact check me on that, you can.
We'll check it.
But he was really good last year, and I really like Archie Bradley. And I just remember watching some of their games, because I watch a lot of games, and I was like, who is this guy? I know he was a first-round draft pick not too long ago. He had some arm troubles, I think. And then he just kind of blew up, and he's starting to do well. Shelby Miller is not going to go 5-13 like he did last year. I mean, he had a really good year for the Braves in 2014, and he has to step up. You don't trade away Dansby Swanson, Ender Sarnati, or whatever the hell his name is.
NCRT.
Yeah, NCRT, for him, and him just to lay down.
I advocated for the Royals to pick him up, by the way. I advocated trading Mondesi for NCRT. We'll see how that.
I would. I mean, why would the
Maybe add in a little bit more than Inciarte.
Yeah, because Mondesi's not
a little
very
more.
good. But I mean,
Mondesi was
seriously, Shelby Miller, like, come on, you got to do something.
I do think Shelby Miller's going to bounce back there. I mean, I think the last year was an anomaly. How can you go from being borderline dominant pitcher in the Cardinals organization
to being the number 5 starter on the worst team in the division,
right,
outside the Padres?
Which is another testament to the Cardinals, how they're magically able to coax any player into performing extremely well. But I do think Shelby Miller, and he was highly regarded coming up, so I think he's going to bounce back. I don't know if he's going to be the pitcher he was in St. Louis.
Yeah, there's no way that Shelby Miller and Zach Greinke have the year they had last year. I mean, those are like career worst years for both those players.
Right.
And if they turn it around and they go career best or even
I don't think
I do think
Greinke will
those
never
players
do
improve.
what he did in 2015. And he'll never do it again.
No.
you don't know that.
Not in Arizona.
Not in Arizona, even though he is technically the best pitcher to ever pitch in Arizona. If you look at his numbers, he's got some really good numbers in Arizona outside of last year.
And can I just say that the big Achilles heel for the Diamondbacks is their bullpen. I mean, that's the reason that I don't
even
have
know anybody in their bullpen.
Yeah,
except for Fernando Rodney.
They signed Rodney to be their closer. 40-year-old Fernando Rodney too.
He's got great changeup, unbelievable changeup.
Yeah,
and he can really shoot arrows at the moon, and he loves it. But he's a good player.
Right.
I like Fernando Rodney a lot, but I don't know anybody else in that bullpen. You could name people off I would never have heard of them.
Jake Barrett, Zach Godley, Randall Delgado, Andrew Chafin,
Enrique Burgos.
I've heard of Chafin before.
Mm-hmm. Evan Marshall, I think he pitched for the Oakland.
I mean, how do you expect to win with that?
Yeah,
explain that to me.
Bullpens are the most difficult to project, though, in baseball, I will say. But yeah, it doesn't look like a good bullpen on paper.
Quality pitching coach.
Do they have one? They've been actually. I will tell you this: their new coach, right? The guy that came from the Red Sox, is it Flaherty? He was a bench coach for the Red Sox forever, and now he's their new head coach. He actually might be able to turn this team around because he's been with the Red Sox forever.
Torey Lovullo, is that who?
Yes.
Okay.
And he has been he did such a wonder with those young players in the Red Sox the last couple of years. Betts, Bradley, all those. I wouldn't be surprised if he does some pretty good stuff with them because he's a good coach.
And I'm sorry, Marshall didn't come up with the Oakland A's. I must have been thinking of somebody else. So
well, yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, he's a great coach, and that's something they've missed. I mean, yeah, they had Tony La Russa as a GM, but he's a great coach. But it's different. It's different baseball.
It's different. It's completely different being a manager and being a general manager in the front office. I mean, it's a completely different dynamic. I mean, you'll look no further than Dave Stewart. Dave Stewart was as a GM. I mean, he was only lasted for a year. I mean, he made some terrible moves. And yet, Dave Stewart is a pretty smart guy, and obviously, a fantastic pitcher. So great. I think he a pitching coach for a while.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
I mean, but they're great, and they're always good on paper. Can they do anything? I mean, do you think they're going to make the wild card or even contend the division?
I don't think so.
I think they'll contend. It'll come down to the last 2 to 3 weeks of the season, and they'll wind up in third.
I just don't think they don't have enough. I mean, the division, we haven't even talked about 3 best teams in the division, in my opinion, because I like the Rockies a lot. I mean, they have a really good offense, but it's so tough. They may be able to. Here's the thing. I think they're going to be that team that just kind of flips over the apple cart. We're not talking about spoiling the apple cart. They're going to flip it over because they're going to take some meaningful games late in the season off of the Dodgers or the Giants or the Rockies, and it's going to really piss a lot of people off.
It's going to be hard for the Rockies to take games off the Rockies.
I'm talking about the Diamondbacks here. Diamondbacks are that team. They're going to shave some games off some people.
Yeah,
that can really screw up this.
That I agree with 100%.
I don't think they're going to get over 500.
I think the Diamondbacks of this year will be like the Marlins from last year. I think they're going to be kind of in the mix, like you said, maybe until the last 2 or 3 weeks of the season, and I think they're going to fall back right around. I think they'll wind up right around 500.
It just for me, it depends on how the starting pitching goes, because they need their starting pitching to go 6 innings every single game. And I don't think they're going to be able to do that.
Right.
Really need to push 7 because that bullpen's...
They do need to push 7. Or they need to just pick up some people. There's a little bit of time here in spring training. They could pick up some guys. I mean, there's some...
And you never know. You might have somebody come out of nowhere and have a great bullpen season.
Be the next Wade Davis.
Exactly.
Yeah. You never know. It could be good.
You never know.
Yeah. I'm going to go to Big Dog on this. We're going to talk about the Giants now. Big Dog has some strong feelings on the Giants.
Okay.
And whether their actual rotation is better than the Dodgers, and we're gonna have some words, because if you tell me again that the Dodgers rotation is better than the Giants.
Okay, so I did, yes. I am saying that.
Oh my God.
I am saying the Dodgers rotation is better. I think they have more depth, the Dodgers do, And I think, Bumgarner. I'm not gonna sit here and
Kershaw's amazing.
And
Kershaw,
criticize.
Bumgarner.
Yeah,
you just
they're
cancel
both
each other
amazing.
out. We're not even going to talk
And
about
Bumgarner's
those two.
great during the regular season. Cueto, I don't see him having a year. I look at those starts down the stretch for the Royals, and I'm sorry, I know it's
He's
a different
in the National League now.
I understand,
Very different.
but he was extremely hittable. It was bizarre to see a pitcher go from dominant for 3 or 4 years or 5 years with Cincinnati to his second half in Kansas City, and I know in the postseason. He doesn't strike me as like a traditionally dominant pitcher, like a strikeout pitcher. So I think next year I see his ERA around 3.4, 3.3, 3.4. Samardzija, I don't see him. I think he is a little bit of a wobbly pitcher. Matt Moore is somebody who came up from Tampa Bay and was really highly regarded, but has been very inconsistent and, of course, has dealt with a lot of injuries over the last couple of years. So I see some holes in their lineup. I don't see much power. I just don't see much power in their lineup.
I think I busted Posey, man.
Posey here.
They got Posey.
He's projected to have 17 home runs.
Great. He can be projected all he wants. The guy hits the crap out of the ball, especially when he plays first base, which they have said he's going to play a lot more first base. You don't pick up Nick Hundley to put Buster Posey behind the dish.
I do agree with you, but his value is going to take a hit.
Hunter Pence is going to be there the whole year. That's going to be huge.
Posey had 14 home runs last year, by the way.
Okay, great. Yeah. Okay, great. Brandon Belt. He's starting to become a pretty good player. They got a great team. I mean, they're gonna do what the Royals did in 2015. Just get base hit after base hit, knock after knock. Somebody's gonna have a big hit every now and then. The best part about that is they get Joe Panik and Hunter Pence for the whole year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but if you sit here and tell me that you think that the unproven 1-year guys from the Dodgers are better than world champion Johnny Cueto, world champion Madison Bumgarner. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Those two are world champions. They've done it. If you forget that Johnny Cueto had a massive game for the Royals in the 2015 postseason. Yeah, he gave up like 3 runs in the first inning and then had like 22 straight outs.
Okay,
and completely deflated the entire Blue Jays stadium, which is a hard place to play.
I see the Giants as a good team, but I don't see them as a great team. I think there are 3 or 4 teams that are in the National League that are clear.
Yeah, they're a lot better. But
But
we're talking about the division only. I don't think there's a team that's even close. I mean, the Giants last year were the best team in MLB going into the World Series or going to the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if it wasn't for their Casilla, Romo, all those guys, literally just doing nothing. Literally doing nothing. They Joakim Soria the second half of the league.
And I look
Nobody's
at their bullpen.
that bad.
They had an epic meltdown, a historic meltdown. I mean,
Right.
how many did they lose in the last second half?
I'll look that up right now.
I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, they lost so many games, and the only reason the Dodgers won the division by a game and a half, is because they had the worst meltdown in almost all history of MLB.
But you got to look at the entire product, and it happened. I mean, the second half happened.
It did happen, but they got Mark Melanson to sure that up.
I think Mark Melanson, yes, that was a good pickup for them.
Unbelievable pickup.
But you need to have at least 3 very good to dominant relief pitchers.
Not every team
in that
is going to
bullpen.
have 3 guys that could come in and throw smoke and get 3 outs every single game. I mean, you have to understand how lucky the Royals were to get those 3 guys at the same time.
Well, they were all 3 historic runs.
Exactly.
It had never happened before.
Ever.
And it will never happen
It will
again.
never happen again. You have to the closest thing you're going to get is the Yankees this year
Yeah.
with Betances and Chapman, and they only have 2.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get it.
By the way, the Giants finished second half 30-42.
Yeah,
okay,
it's
so
bad.
they were 57
It's
and 33 in the first half. Yeah,
Terrible.
So they did. Yeah.
And how many games did they lose the division by? I'm pretty sure it's real close.
The division, I want to say it was 1.5 to 2.
Yeah, they lost. They barely lost the division.
Sorry.
And they had one of the worst second halves in recent memory for any baseball team.
Yeah.
So if you think they're going to do that again, now I don't think they're going to be the best team in the MLB because they got rid of Duffy, which to me was a terrible trade. Matt Duffy was great.
Mm-hmm.
I loved him at third base, especially in that lineup. Right now they have
Yeah.
Edgar.
I'm sorry, they lost the
Nunez.
division by 4 games. So.
Edgar Nunez.
Eduardo Nunez. And to me, there are a couple spots in the lineup, 3 spots that are sort of if. You have to play the if game. I think Eduardo Nunez, and then Nick Hundley.
That's
Okay.
it.
I mean, if Posey's playing first base,
I mean, and if Posey's playing first base, that means you got to put Brandon Belt in left because you can't take Brandon Belt out of the lineup. He's one of your best bats. So you got Denard Span leading off, who's still a pretty good leadoff guy, even though he's kind of young or old. Not young. He's pretty old. But then you got Hunter Pence, Joe Panik, Brandon Crawford, Buster Posey,
I will say it's a very balanced team.
It's a very balanced team.
It is a
and they're
balanced
good.
team.
I mean, and they just play the game. They got Bruce Bochy.
They do have Bruce Bochy, yes, and I consider him the top 3 managers in baseball.
It's not an even year though.
Yeah,
I think we busted that curse last year. Thank you. A lot of stuff got busted last year. The even year stuff with the Giants and all that. I mean, it just shows that it's not. It doesn't matter. It's the team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's not the year. But the Giants are great this year for me. I got them winning this division by a lot.
I have a couple.
I think it's going to be closer than you think. I know you hate the Dodgers.
It's not that I hate the Dodgers. I hate the attention that they get for being as.
They deserve that attention.
Explain to me this, because we're going to segue into the Dodgers, because I don't think they deserve the attention.
Why don't you think they deserve the attention?
They have a couple good players.
They always show up.
Really?
Always.
Of course they're going to show up. They get paid to show up.
There you go. And God, did they get paid.
When was the last time they won a World Series?
81?
88?
I think 88.
Was it 1988?
I have no idea.
Did they win
That's what
over
I'm
Oakland?
asking
I thought Oakland won in 88.
I'm asking you, stats boy.
All right.
Let's go, Sabermetrics.
We're doing the baseball reference thing right here. By the way,
let's go.
Shout out to
But
Baseball
I'm just
Reference.
saying,
Great
like,
website.
Okay, they got Clayton Kershaw. They got Corey Seager. They got an island of misfit toys after that. We got.
It was 88.
We got King Moonrazer.
It was 88.
Roman right field.
I thought we looked that up before.
Picking up misfit toys. They're terrible.
So you don't think that the Jock Peterson tearing the cover off the ball was gonna happen?
Great, he tears the cover off the ball for 1 month and then he goes, hits 83 for
Maybe.
the next 2 months.
Maybe.
If you look at Jock Peterson's age, though, I mean, he's still extremely young.
Very young.
He's extremely young and extremely mentally weak. You hit 17 home runs in the first half of a season and then literally hit 120 for the rest of the year.
He's going to be a guy who strikes out a lot.
He's got to learn how to adapt to pitching, because pitching adapted to him.
Exactly.
And that is what comes as you age
He's
in
a good
professional
player.
baseball.
I'm not going to say he's not a good player, but he's not a player you can be like, yep, I am a bench cornerstone, that guy. He's not Corey Seager.
I didn't say that.
He's not Corey Seager.
I said if you think you're going to hold him to 120 in the second half of this season, it's not going to happen.
He won't hit over 260 this year.
If you look at the end result, was very good last year. 847 OPS, 25 home runs, good, decent outfield defense. Yeah, he's going to strike out a lot. I mean, he's not a flawless player, and the fact that he's only 25 years old coming into next year, I would consider Peterson a borderline all-star.
Borderline all-star. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not a big fan of Jock Peterson. He's a good player for a while. I would
consider him an all-star.
I did like him. But he's too inconsistent for me. And you can't,
I think age plays a huge factor in his
young,
inconsistency.
And he's immature. Still.
They have a lot of inconsistency. Yasiel Puig, if he ever decides to actually play baseball, is outstanding.
We'll see. Because honestly, I think with Puig, he's a good player. He's got some pop. And he's speed. And he's the physical tools that you want off the board. He's a combine warrior.
Yeah, he's a 5-tool player. But can he convert that to the field? And if he can,
I don't think he cares.
There is that possibility.
I don't even know if he's going to start.
And if he doesn't, where does that leave? Is Andre Ethier? I mean, is he going to be?
He's 34. He might start right because he's healthy.
What
now.
kind of a player is he though? Right now,
right
in 2017, what kind of a player is Andre
exactly?
Ethier?
Okay, they got Andrew Tolson left, which in my opinion it should be Trace Thompson. Trace Thompson was great. If his back thing is good, he's fine. He's a great player. He's fast. He's got good hands, good defense. He can hit the ball. He was hitting really well before he got out. I don't know. Andrew Toles did not play well enough for me in the postseason for him to be the slated starter for left field. If anything, it should be Ethier.
Toles will only be 25 this year. So.
Yeah, I get that. He's young and he's fast.
Yeah,
he's quick,
and he's going to be there for a long, long time.
We'll see. You have this love affair with the Dodgers. You're like, are you sure you don't work for the LA Times?
I wish.
Good Lord.
I like their lineup better than the Giants.
You like their lineup better than the Giants?
Yes.
Okay. Adrian Gonzalez is old. He's a great hitter still. He's getting old. Second base, Logan Forsythe. Logan Forsythe's numbers are the exact same as Chase Utley's numbers. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you gave up your top prospect to get him.
Okay, Utley's numbers last year.
Having a leadoff man batting .267 is
dog shit.
Is ridiculous. It's
Andrew Toll should be leading off if you're going to do this.
I agree with that 100%.
Utley had a 716 OPS
you got to realize
last year.
Toll's only batting .290.
Okay, don't just bringing out one stat here and thinking that's
okay. With
that's
I think 12 home runs, okay. and Forsythe had a 778 OPS, and Forsythe is a better defender.
How much better? Look at their RBIs. Look at their on-base percentage. Look at their hit. Look at he's supposed to be the leadoff guy.
A little bit. I still don't like the De Leon
Forsythe over
trade,
2 on base percentage,
for the
334 to 329.
That's what I'm saying. And they're the exact same player. Why would you give up your best
But
pitcher?
Forsythe is 10 years younger.
Because Forsythe has twice the walks that
But
Toole
why
has.
would you give up De Leon to get Forsythe? If you're going to do something and trade for a player to play second base, and you're going to give up De Leon, add one more person, get Brian Dozier. Just get it over with.
I don't think I would have, because of De Leon's upside potential in the rotation, I wouldn't have traded him to get
Exactly.
to get
But if
Forsythe.
you're
I
going
would've
to
just
trade
picked
somebody,
off
and
free agent.
if you're going to trade De Leon, because they obviously wanted to, because apparently they love having 5 lefties in their lineup, and they're in the starting rotation for some reason, which is going to just get destroyed by the Cubs because they hit lefty pitching like it's nobody's business.
I think it's a very deep rotation. The lineup is a little bit, I wouldn't say it's as deep, but it's actually very balanced. And I would argue they have a little bit more power than the Giants do. And they've got a stud player in Corey Seager.
Yeah, they had Corey Seager. Corey Seager goes down, what do they do?
They have good defense.
Answer me that.
What?
If Corey Seager goes down, what do they do?
You can ask that question of any team.
That's not true.
Baseball.
We already talked about this.
There are a lot of teams we could ask.
The Cubs, they're good. That's a good team. Anybody on that team goes down except for Anthony Rizzo, which we actually might be able to get away with. They got people to take over.
Well, if the Nationals, for example, lose Bryce Harper, now I know Bryce Harper.
They lose Bryce Harper, that's fine. They got Adam Eaton. Get him out of here.
If they lose Bryce Harper, they win more games.
They might win more games. A lot of people don't like that.
I see him rebounding.
I know my brother hates it when I say it. Take out his MVP season, and he's just a normal right fielder.
I think he's going to rebound next year. I don't know
one
if he'll
word
have
for
the year
Bryce
he did.
Harper, since obviously we're completely off task at this point, pedestrian numbers outside of his MVP
He's
season.
got
Part of it is
unbelievable
attitude.
upside.
His attitude is
yeah, he's bad for baseball, and we're gonna get away from this because we're gonna have a whole nother segment on this
We will.
at a different time. But I just don't like his attitude. I mean, that's not the way you play the game. Okay, you get choked out by Jonathan Papelbon, you don't deserve to wear the uniform.
And then for the GM to keep both of those players the following season, to me is
To keep both of them.
ridiculous.
I mean, and they need Papelbon now, don't they? Oh yeah, they do.
yeah.
Holy crap! But the Dodgers. I mean, come on, dude. Justin Turner re-signing. Okay. This is the thing that pisses me off the most. They re-signed Kenley Jansen. They re-signed Justin Turner. They re-signed Rich Hill. And now all of a sudden, they're amazing. They're going to win 98 games. They're better than the Cubs. You re-signed the players that are now a year older that lost to the Cubs last year.
they re-signed their players. They added Sergio Romo, and they made that trade. I think Forsythe is a solid.
You think
second
Forsythe's
baseman.
going to be the difference?
No, but I think he's a good piece. I think he's a
Because
good complementary
they
player.
had Clayton Kershaw last year, and
Yeah.
he did not.
Well, but last year they won 90 games.
Great, they won
Or
90 games.
94 games, I think. How
Do
many
you
games did
think
they
that
win?
do you
91
think
games.
that Fangraph's projection of them winning more games than the Cubs this year is actually warranted? It's ridiculous.
No, I don't think they're not going to win as many games.
It's ridiculous because everybody in
Cubs.
LA and everybody in New York, they all think that these teams are amazing. They're like, "Oh, Justin Turner, look at his numbers."
I think Justin
his
Turner
numbers
is
are so
a
good. Why don't
good
they
player,
win?
very good player.
Why don't they win when it matters?
Yeah, they don't because
don't win
Kershaw
when it
breaks
matters.
down in the postseason.
He didn't last
Yeah.
year,
Yeah.
but they just didn't win when it matters. You know who did break down? Kenta Maeda. We haven't even gotten into that. Jose Urias had a decent game, but it wasn't good enough. It wasn't good enough.
I just think it's an incredibly deep rotation for the regular season. Ross Stripling, there's another guy we haven't mentioned.
Ross
Alex
Stripling
Wood.
had one good outing when he first came up, and then he was just kind of whatever.
Okay.
Okay, he had that he got taken out by Dave Roberts in the middle of a no-hitter, and that's going to be his highlight of his career.
Wow.
I mean, I like Ross Stripling. He seems like he's going to probably be a good person, a good player, but as of right now, that's the only thing he's going to be known for.
5-4 with a 3.71 ERA is.
He won't even be in the starting rotation.
You're not hanging your hat
He
on
won't
it.
even be in the starting rotation this year. Period.
No, he won't. He's not one of the. He's
Period.
not one of the top 5 on that roster.
Period. Not even close. You got
And
Kershaw.
you don't need 5 in the playoffs.
You got Kershaw, Maeda, Urias, Rich Hill, and then anybody else.
I think it's pretty good. It's a pretty deep rotation.
It's a deep rotation, but it's not the rotation of the Giants.
I had them winning the division. I had them winning, we'll say 89 games. I'll go with an 89 win season.
It's just not the Giants. I mean, I can match up anybody against anybody from the Dodgers with the Giants, and I think they win. Outside of maybe Samardzija.
I will grant you that the Giants probably defeat the Dodgers in the postseason.
I don't even know if the Dodgers make the postseason.
I have them making the postseason.
You know why I don't think
it's
so?
It's an incredible rotation.
You know why I don't? I think the only team from the NL West that makes the postseason is the team that wins it. Because the Cardinals are getting in. They're winning 90-something games.
Yeah.
Okay, they have a weak
They'll be
division
back.
that they play in outside of the Cubs. I'm not a big fan of the Pirates. Mets are getting in. So are the Nationals because they also have a weak division. Unless for some reason the Marlins put it together again and the Braves end up being better than they should be, which they might. But they got the Phillies, Braves, and Marlins. You got the Reds, Brewers, and Pirates. 2 of those teams in each of those divisions are going to win 90-something games. There's no way that 2 teams are winning 90-something games in the NL West. It's too competitive.
Yeah.
I had 89. I had 86.
Team that wins the division is going to be the only team in the playoffs.
And I think it's going to come back to
you're
the
right.
last week.
I would agree with that.
And it's going to be either the Dodgers or the Giants.
It's going to be the Giants. Giants are going to win the series again.
Yeah.
Every year they beat the Dodgers in the season head-to-head series. Like last year they went 11-8.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dodgers just trim wins off the Padres and Diamondbacks and all these other weak teams. They play the AL Central this year. They'll probably trim wins off the NL West plays the AL Central this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to trim wins off the Twins, the White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
When they play good teams, they lose.
The Dodgers you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but the Dodgers do beat the Giants in the regular season most of the time.
Last year they went 8-11 against the Giants.
Okay. Well, yeah, but they finished with a better record. Giants were 4 games behind.
Yeah, because
the Giants didn't do enough.
Anybody can finish with a better record when you play a bunch of idiots. I mean, they win every game they play against the Padres. They win every game they play against all the. I mean, the Giants do the same thing, but the Dodgers don't win when they play good teams. They just don't.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Well.
Well, what?
Well, they're winners.
Are they? We haven't even talked about the Rockies, which is my team to literally. I think they're going to be better than the Dodgers. I know they don't have.
That is
they don't
the
have
most
sin.
outrageous
That's
statement I have ever
It's
heard in my
outrageous.
entire life.
I am going with this, and I'm going to stick this out there because that's just what I want to do.
You
their
realize we're taping this.
Their lineup is ridiculous, and you know what else I think they're going to do? I think they're going to pick up Matt Wieters in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, we may reevaluate when they
if they pick up
Wieters.
Matt Wieters,
That's good. That's
they
certainly gonna help
could.
them. Yeah.
Now, still Travis Walters is pretty good. Okay,
But
their lineup.
But see, the problem is their lineup at home is incredible, but their lineup away, they only
We
had a
don't know yet.
700 OPS away from
We don't
Coors
know
Field
that,
last year.
but they don't have the same team as they did last year.
Okay, not quite.
Trevor Story was out
Yeah,
for most
we'll have
of the
to
year.
see how they.
I still don't think he's going to be as good as he was last year.
I do think they're
He can't
improved, which is
outrun
why I think they're going to finish better with a better record.
They got
than
Ian
last
Desmond,
year.
which to me just solidifies that lineup because he can play anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's a really good hitter. He's a good player. He's a good baseball player. He's just a good baseball player. He's not good at one thing. He's really good at a lot of stuff. This is what he's good at. I mean, he's going to play first base, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. But they're a good team. And they have David Dahl.
David Dahl.
Okay. They got Charlie Blackmon. Unbelievable. Actually, one of the best leadoff hitters in all of baseball.
Mhm.
They got Carlos Gonzalez, who's on his decline, but he's still a good player, especially Coors Field.
Trevor Story is on the
Trevor
incline.
Story.
You win
He's
or
on the
lose,
way
kid.
up.
You're going to make
It
me an
doesn't-
amazing story.
It doesn't matter if he doesn't do well because they got Brendan Rodgers, #1 prospect, coming up at shortstop. Trevor Story could get injured again. You got to bring up Rodgers. He's just as good. Okay, you got Nolan Arenado at third base. Arguably the best third baseman in the league.
One of the top 5 best players in the league.
The top 5 best players in the league.
Hey, he's exceptional.
The only person I might think might be better at third base overall is Manny Machado, but he's really shortstop.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm talking about all of MLB. Second base, you got LeMahieu. Unbelievable. Really good, solid player. He's not going to be your leadoff guy or number 2. He's a good 6, 7, 8 hitter. Okay, the only hole you're going to see on the lineup is Walters. Even though Walters can hit, but how can he actually, work with the pitchers?
Mm-hmm.
They don't really have a lot of pitching, but they do have some pitching. John Gray's great. Okay, John Gray is a frontline starter. He's a good guy. He's a good pitcher. Very good starter for them. Solid #1. After that, yeah, it does kind of taper off a little bit. But I think they just hit the ball. They hit the ball. They're going to win a lot of games at Coors Field,
and they're going to lose a lot of weight.
They're going to hit the crap out of the ball. I don't know. They play in a lot of parks where the ball flies.
Wow.
Playing a lot of parks where the ball flies. The only time they're going to not hit the ball is when they play in the AL Central, because the ball does not fly in Kansas City. The ball does not fly in Chicago. The ball does not fly in Detroit, but it definitely gets out of Target Field and Progressive Field in Cleveland.
The rotation, they have a lot of young pitchers coming up, and that's the only way that they could acquire pitching is through player development. The bullpen's a little bit of a makeshift project. You got Jake McGee, of course, was really good with Tampa Bay, so I think there's a legitimate back end relief pitcher. You got guys like Greg Holland, you got Ottavino, so it's a little bit of kind of a makeshift project in the bullpen. I don't really see I see their bullpen, frankly, as a weakness. So along with the rotation, I think to some degree, I think the lineup will be enough to carry them, even though they're not going to be good away from Coors Field. The home road splits for them every year are incredible. But the offense could be enough, especially now that we're entering, home runs just, baseballs flew out of the ballpark last year. So could that help the Rockies? Yeah, I could see an argument for that. I had them winning about 83 games. We'll go 83 wins. I'm going to go third place in the division for Colorado. And if they pick up Wieters, though, that's
if they pick up Wieters, is a different story because that guy is really good when it comes to handling.
And I think he's
handling
underperformed the last couple of years too.
I think it's also he's been dealing with a bunch of guys that just throw hard.
Yeah,
and not a lot of the guys of the Rockies throw that hard, but he's a great defense. He gets a lot of rack for his defensive play, but he's a pretty good defensive player. Mm-hmm. I know you don't really like the Rockies, Tommy. For some reason, you're just like, I mean, they're a volatile team. They're just like the Diamondbacks.
It's because it's hard for me to get behind a team that has burned me so often in the past. Every single time I look at the Rockies and I think, you know what? This is the year. This is finally the year the big fly in Colorado finally pulls them to the playoffs. They burn me and lose 100 games.
Yeah, that's the point. I mean, that's the thing I don't like about
they're so hot and cold. They could absolutely wind up winning 92, 93, 94 games. They could lose just as many. There
I
are
agree.
so many just question marks with the Rockies.
I still like them a lot.
You like the color purple. It doesn't count.
I do like the color purple. It's
you
royalty,
like dinosaurs.
baby.
You like purple dinosaurs. Call you Barney Fields over here.
Royalty. All right, so we're going to get into this. I want division winners. I want full division. I'm going to start with Tommy first.
Bottom to top, top to bottom.
We're going to go bottom to top.
Anybody that says anything other than the Padres as ass last doesn't know anything about baseball. They are horrible. Okay. They don't even deserve to be called a major league team.
Okay.
After that, I'm going to take I'm not going to get burned again. I'm going to take the Rockies. Going 4.
All right, I got you.
And then I know I said it, but it was just to get a rise out of you.
You tell me. No. You keep going.
I actually think the Dodgers are going to wind up third in that division. I love to get under your skin.
I like it.
Love it.
The Dodgers being third.
Then I'm going to go with the D-backs are going to wind up 2.5 games back of the Giants.
Okay. Of the Giants, so you got the Giants winning.
I got the Giants winning it.
I know you got some.
I got some win totals too for you. I got some win totals.
You do your win totals.
Oh man, and these have to add up, by the way. So over the season, we'll make sure that happens. Padres,
you can make sure because I don't really care.
So fifth place is obviously the consensus. San Diego Padres will finish.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and stipulate that.
And 100. Fourth place, we're going Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm going to go 80. Let's go one game below 5. 80 and 82 for the Diamondbacks. Third place, I have Colorado Rockies, 83 wins, 83 and 79. Second place, Giants, 86 and 76.
So you have the Dodgers winning.
That's right. And the Dodgers winning the division with.
All right, so
let's go with 90 wins for the Dodgers. 90 wins.
I'm going to take away your microphone. Okay, you don't deserve to talk anymore. I'm just kidding. So, but I do have the Padres losing, obviously. I think the Padres are the worst team in the National League, but not the full MLB, okay? Just to give the Padres some due because they deserve to talk about. I got the Diamondbacks going fourth because I just don't trust them. Like I said, I'm going to light that. We're going to start the year, and I'm going to light the piece of paper on fire, and it's going to float away because that's just what they do every year, okay? I have the Dodgers getting third, and it's not by much, a game. The Rockies and Dodgers are going to be a game away from each other. I just think the Rockies beat up on the Padres, beat up on the Diamondbacks, split with the Giants, and eke out a series win against the Dodgers this year. And I think they take it. And then I got the Giants winning it all. Okay, I do have the Giants going pretty far to the NL Championship this year. I think last year they just got in a bad issue. They ran into the Cubs at the wrong time.
They ran into a combination of things, the Cubs and then injuries.
And injuries, yeah.
It screwed them.
It is what it is. And then they had the bad meltdown. So, I mean, that's the NL West. I mean, what else can you say? Not really much. So I'm going to go into viewer question because we do like to do viewer questions here. You guys can always hit us up at our Twitter account, JNC Baseball Show. You can even send us emails, jncbaseballofficial@gmail.com. We like to pick at least one question every week, answer a viewer question. This one's a great one. I've been asked this a few times. The last person that did was Tony in Georgia. He actually asked me this. He likes the NFL playoffs. Okay, the MLB playoffs, he doesn't like that. He doesn't like the one-game playoff. I know Tommy loves a one-game playoff. I hate it because baseball's not a one-game. It's not one game. I mean, it's a season. And so
you got to have balls to win one game.
Yeah,
it takes one. I don't need 3 games.
Ask the Pirates that. 3 years in a row they play one-game playoff and get just destroyed because they run to buzzsaws.
Yeah, congratulations. Maybe they should win one game. If they were a winning team, you got to win one game in order to get it.
Winners win.
If you get to Game 7 of the World Series, it's one game. If you can't win that one game to get there, you don't deserve to be there.
Okay, so it's a team game, and you're laying it all in one pitcher. It happens. So I understand. We'll get into that. We'll let you get into that when you answer this. They want to. This guy wants, and I've been advocating for this. Let's move to the NFL type of playoff. Okay, give me 4 divisions. 4 division winners, two wild cards. Top 2 division winners get buys. Okay, if we're gonna do that, that means we need to add 2 new teams. Okay, and I know we've talked about this, me and you, Jack. Where would you put 2 new teams? And I have some pretty good thoughts on this. I love doing this because I really want to see some expansion teams. People love baseball. They want more. They want more baseball. I want more teams.
From the man that wants to shorten the season.
I do want to shorten the season a little bit. Okay, and that's only to help pitchers' arms. Okay, and in my world here, we take it back to 148. Okay, because we're going to add a little bit more playoff. Because in the wild card rounds with these 2 new wild card teams, we're doing 3-game series instead of 1 game. At least give it 2 games. Because somebody could come out and have a bad game. You never know. We're going to add 2 new teams. We're going to 1 to the NL and 1 to the AL. Where do you have the NL team?
Oh, I have the NL team in Montreal.
In Montreal.
Montreal
so you're sticking with Montreal.
I'm sticking with Montreal.
Okay, so you want to bring back the Expos.
Yes.
Give me the reason why.
Reason why is Montreal is a big market. There are 4 million people living in the metro area. A city that large with that large of a region should be able to support a Major League Baseball team, and they did support a baseball team up until the strike or just after the strike. When attendance completely dwindled. But for 25 years there, they were really sustaining themselves well. So yeah, I think Montreal.
I mean, they did technically have one of the best teams in history if you look at who they had. I mean, they didn't win, but they had Pedro, they had the Rocket. I mean, they had a bunch of players on that team. They were
Larry
really
Walker.
good. Larry Walker. I mean, they were good. They had Vlad Guerrero.
Yeah.
Timmy Raines, guy just got in.
Tim Raines, that's true.
So they're a good team. I do like Montreal a lot. Where do you think you're going to go with that?
With an NL team?
Yeah.
I want to go Oklahoma City for very much the same reason. Big market, and you saw what the Thunder did for basketball when it hit Oklahoma City.
So you're sticking with Oklahoma City. What about Oklahoma City do you like? Outside of being in the very center of America.
And that's really what it is. It's the very center of America. It's easy for people to get there. It's easy to travel from both sides of the country to be able to play a game there. And the sheer amount of people and everybody's love of baseball in the Midwest, I think it'd be a huge, huge addition to have a team in Oklahoma City.
I think it would too. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I'm gonna go completely different place. I'm going with Charlotte. I know you like Charlotte a lot, Jack. I like Charlotte. It's right in the middle of minor league baseball country. It's a huge market when it comes to professional sports. They already have an NFL team and an NBA team. They deserve an MLB team.
I completely agree. And you have to look at the region too. It's not just Charlotte. Charlotte's a city of about 2 million. I think it's marginally larger than Kansas City, Cincinnati. There are a number of markets in baseball, a number of Major League Baseball teams it's larger than. You also look at the surrounding areas. You look at like Durham. You look at Raleigh. I mean, it's a populated region, and Charlotte should be able to support a Major League Baseball team.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Now, I'm going to get into the AL team because I'm going to go first on this one because I really like this one actually a lot. And this goes back to me loving specific college sports. In the American League, I want to see a team in New Orleans. Okay? They have an unbelievable fan base in New Orleans. Okay? And not only do they love just sports in general, they love LSU baseball down there like it's nobody's business. And they have a huge market for baseball. You can play baseball all year down there. I mean, obviously not hurricane season, which is
in the middle of baseball season.
Yeah,
so that'll be fun.
But it is fun. But but think about it. I mean, think about New Orleans. Think about how much
you could hit a 3-mile home run.
You ever been to a Saints game? You ever been to a Pelicans game? It's crazy, man. Those guys are nuts. They got Mardi Gras. I mean, it's crazy. It's so much fun down there. And my friends that live in New Orleans and stuff like that, it's just crazy. And there's sports. It's a sports town, and we need a baseball team in New Orleans.
I just don't know about the size of the city. I believe it's between 1 and 1.5 million, and then the region there's really not that much.
If
of a
they
region.
can support an NFL team, they could support an MLB.
There are enough people that travel there all the time.
All the time.
Because
like Vegas.
It's a huge vacation destination. Now, obviously, not going to see anything for Mardi Gras because it's going to be end of February, beginning of March, and it's not baseball season, so you won't have that benefit going on for New Orleans. But lots of people in New Orleans all the time. I think it would be a great place for a team. Not my choice for an AL team.
Where are you going, Tommy?
Well, you just said it. I'm going Vegas.
Love it.
Love Vegas. Personally, I love Vegas. It's probably my favorite place on the planet.
I've only been there a couple times.
But I love it. Yeah, a couple times.
I seriously, I've
We
only been
all
there a few
love
times.
lost wages.
But it's great.
But it's amazing. And if you don't think that people that are consummate gamblers love having a place where they can bet on baseball and having a team that they can get behind, it'll be huge. I mean, you're going to wind up having people back out of contracts to build stadiums, but
See, that's the thing. It's a volatile market when it comes to casinos.
everything's a volatile market.
Because if you're going to move there, you have to have casino backing. And I mean, even the Raiders are running into that now. They're backing out. The guy from the Saints backing out. $600 million.
He backed out of.
Where you're going to get the money. I know the NHL team's in, and that's great. I really like Vegas, but the reason why I didn't go with them is because they already have a minor league team. I don't know what their attendance is. There's a lot of. I really like Vegas. Vegas is an up-and-coming city for sports.
Yeah, it'd be
I would
huge.
definitely go and watch games there. They have a great All-Star game, that's for sure.
Oh,
Think
man.
about an All-Star game in Vegas.
Every single All-Star
Forget it.
would wind up being arrested before the game.
It'd be arrested for
it
the
would
game.
be amazing.
It's like an All-Star game in San Diego. No, it's not the same ring to it. So, all right, Big Dog, where are you putting your AL team? I have a feeling you're going.
AL team, yeah, I actually did say I went with Charlotte.
You're going with
Actually, I'm
Charlotte. So you're
the
going with
AL.
Charlotte. Double up on Charlotte. See,
Yes.
I love the area. I mean, and I don't think there's enough teams in the Southeast region for how much baseball is huge in the Southeast. There's not enough teams. I mean, you have what? Tampa Bay, Miami, the Braves. That's it.
What else do you need?
But I mean, we need some more teams in the Southeast, just like we need more teams in the West. The Northeast dominates baseball.
Well, it's a huge market. There's a lot of people in the Northeast.
There's a huge amount of people that love baseball in the Southeast as well.
Yeah, and they absolutely do, but it's not near the number of total people that are in the Northeast.
I like Charlotte a lot, and I'll be honest with you, I think that'd be a perfect place. Honestly, I do like Montreal because I love the Expos and they're great. But I want to see a Charlotte team before I see anything else.
I would
I
love to see a game in Charlotte.
But I don't think we're going to see a team anytime soon.
I do think expansion actually is a very realistic possibility for the sport.
I don't think it will. I don't think they're going to expand because I just think baseball's making a lot of money right now, but I just don't see them doing it because they're going to have to add 2 teams because it's so balanced right now in the divisions.
It is very balanced. I mean, there's more parity now than there's been in a long time, perhaps ever actually in baseball. I still don't think it's quite where it needs to be in terms of the payroll, but.
So, well, that wraps it up. I mean, we had a good day. NL West, obviously, we think is very, very competitive.
Well, very top heavy and very competitive.
It's just going to be competitive. There's a couple teams that can shave off some stuff. The 2 teams that you don't want to do anything can really affect the other 2 teams, and we love that.
I am most excited about the Rockies and the Diamondbacks.
I am
say
too.
I'm very.
I want to
excited
see
about
them on
those 2
TV.
teams.
Which you won't have. Which will
not
happen.
It's not going to happen. So we're not going to see it. So we appreciate everybody listening. Obviously, we'd love for you to subscribe to the channel if you like it. Give us a like. Follow us on Twitter, JNC Baseball Show. You can catch our podcasts on iTunes and other things of that nature. And everything will be in the description. But we appreciate it, and we will see you guys at the baseball fields.